Hello everyone, I'm Nathaniel Freeman and this is Freeman's Money. And today we're going to take a little sidestep from our usual content about finances, and I'm going to tell you about my top 5 favorite historical books. Now, most of these books are based off of people in history, but there's one that stands out. Well, it's not about anybody specific, but about history and a specific historical action. And if this guy doesn't bug me too much, I'd love to tell you all about them. So, let's get started with my all-time favorite book, and that is Mark Twain's Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc's my favorite character from history, and I've read multiple books about Joan of Arc, but this book takes it home. It's given by not the first person of Joan of Arc, but somebody next to her, and if you're interested in a story about a hero, you want inspiration, you're feeling weak, you need something to pick you up, like, this is the book. It has a sad ending, and for those that don't know Joan of Arc's story, I'm not going to spoil it, but what she accomplished at the age she accomplished it is just beyond all imagining, and she is my number one hero, and this is my favorite book about her. Highly recommend it. Second one is the oldest story that we know of, and that is Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a tale about the first king that we have record of, and his friend that he meets up with, and their tales, and then, well, I'm not going to spoil the sad part of the end. This book has a sad ending as well, but I'm not going to spoil that, but this is definitely a great read. It's real quick. It was written in Sanskrit, and then we translated it, so the pages are really short, the chapters are short. If you just want to kill like 3-4 hours, I don't know how fast you read, but solid book to read. I like it a lot. From the detail in which books are written, this one won't compare to the other ones, but it's the full story we have record of that's ever been recorded, and I like history, and it's a good story. Now, this book, you don't know what it is from that side, but it is the Gulag Archipelago, written by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And this book is a detailed description of some of the most horrific things I've ever read or even thought of. This book haunted my nightmares for a while. It is a detailed description of the Soviet Union and how they put their people into camps and not executed them, worked them to death, and then sometimes executed them. But it's a really detailed description from how they rounded them up, how they selected who to round them up, what they were like when they were in jail waiting to get sentenced, what the sentencing was like, then what the transportation to the camps was like, and then what life in the camps were like. And it's so detailed, and the things we did were so horrific in it. I only recommend you reading this book if you have a strong stomach and you want to really learn the history and the tragedy that humans can do to one another. But it is fantastic. I honestly recommend most people read it, but it's horrific. Some of the things we did. So, read this one if you can handle it. Maybe just read the first 30 pages, because the first 8 pages had me tearing up a bit. It's just some of the imagery I was going through my mind. But Alexander Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, this is volume 1. There's 3 volumes, and I have them all. I think this one's the skinniest one. I think it's 600 pages. So, just if you're interested. Now, Genghis Khan, one of my favorite people from history. He's played out as a villain in a lot of historical tales and what you think about him. But John's good. He's just being crazy. But read this book and you'll learn his real history. And honestly, he has the hero tale times 10 that everybody inspires to be that movies try to portray, and he lived that life. I'll give you a short little part about the beginning. When he was growing up, he didn't want to be in part of a warring clan, so him and his family went and lived in the woods. And it was only when some people came and kidnapped his wife that he went and joined the warring band to really capture his wife and bring her back to him, because they were in love. And, well, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there's a lot of stories that are either copying his story, and a lot of famous novels that are copying his story, because it's just, oh, it's so good. And if they're not copying it, they're copying pieces of it. Now, the last book is another one of my favorite people from history, and that is Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great was just a awe-inspiring leader, and this book uses a lot of old memoirs, so a lot of it's told from the first person. I don't really like it when it shifts to Catherine the Great not writing anymore, and they kind of had to fill in the blanks at the end of what the rest of her life was like. But absolutely fantastic. I love the writings. I love the way she portrayed herself, and some of the history behind Catherine the Great will surprise you. Me and my family were talking about this new show, Catherine the Great, and they were telling me about the TV show, and I'm like, that sounds strange, but if you read about her history, like her life, it was stranger than that. Because I'm sure they dramatized it, but like, history really is stranger than fiction, and her life was just crazy. Like, it's not like she did anything super crazy, it's just there's so much drama. Like, if they just told a retelling of her life, it'd be just the biggest soap opera I've ever seen. But those are my top 5 favorite historical books. I highly recommend you pick up some of them and just start reading, because the more you educate about history, the world, all that stuff, it opens your eyes to so many things. And I didn't think it would, but when I started reading about history, it really changed my perspective on a lot of things. The Gulag Archipelago, that one is just, if you can handle it, read it, and you'll learn so much, and it'll change your perspective on so many things. But I'm telling you, it's true, and it's not, I don't mean it's like detailed in the description of like how the person was feeling and whatnot. It's, during this, we did this, and it had this result, and it's just laid out plainly. So let me, if you guys want to get into that kind of darker stuff, that's the book, but you'll learn so much about history, and it'll change your perspective to where you think. You really start to question, because the left always like talks about Lenin and stuff like that, and Marxism. Read that book, and you will change your perspective on that. Anyways, those are my top 5 favorite books. I'm gonna put out a few more top 5 books, or top 7, top 6. Highly recommend Joan of Arc, at least. One of my favorite books. I'll put links to the description, like links to the books down below, so you can buy them off Amazon if you would like. But highly recommend. This one is my absolute favorite, and I'm gonna read it to my kids for sure. I'll probably read them all, but like this would be like, we're gonna read this like 17 times. So if you like the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Ciao for now.